Yeah, went to a little square, so I guess we're recording.
Well, we'll take a look. This is the first official, unofficial video, so yeah, we're good to go. Hey, I can do a pun on words and be like, this is the first official video of ProCo and Sons. Hey, custom coated countertops. All right, so countertop, we've already done one coat of Bear paint and primer, sanded with 220, done our second coat, dried for 24 hours. About to put our white Carrera marble base coat from Stone Coat countertops down onto it. And we'll use an 1/8" trowel to spread it out. So here we go.
With no further ado.
Yeah, let the fun begin.
You might also note this is your first full official pour after 4 sample runs.
Yes, yes. I mean, I might as well. I'm not going to be saving any of it for later. This is not dinner tonight, so I'll get every bit of it out that I can. And I'll save this for a second because one of the things that they say is to prime your brush for the next step. All right, so we've got our 1/8" trowel. And if this ever gets seen, just remember that no rush. You've got 45 minutes of work time with this.
You're sure running a lot of it off the side of.
Okay.
I think you're supposed to like work it from the middle to the outside and then then push it over. Make sure everything in the middle's covered first. That's pretty stuff though.
Yeah. Once that stuff is out in the sunlight or in natural light, it's just absolutely gorgeous. Sparkles. It's just crazy.
What is leveling out quick, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's definitely definitely does its trick.
If I was you, son, I'd scrape that thing stuff off the back side and put it back on the top and work it because it's not doing you good on the back side.
All right. I'll run my front real quick and make sure I just covered on the front real quick.
Because unless we're going to make a backsplash right away, you know, that's not going to look too good setting off the wall. You know, with that stuff holding it out.
Well, once again, we can, just like how they say, we can after everything's dried and cured, go back and
Sand it or whatever.
yeah, do the 80 grit on it. sure that we're getting a good.
How's it coming out in the front?
Come out good. I just need to pour or just pull a little bit, flip my trowel to get our routed edge. I just want to make sure that that relief is nice and filled up. I know you can't see the front side. For those of you that don't know what a relief is, I really kind of can't explain it either. That's what my dad says. All right, so now I feel that we're nice leveled. We've got a good coverage coming off the front. We're not necessarily worried about the drips yet. I'm about to grab my brush, 2-inch chop brush. We're going to do what's called chopping. So I'm going to grab my bucket again. I'm actually just going to re-pour anything that was left in this bucket. And I'm just going to go try to put it towards my edge. We've got plenty on the countertop. I want to make sure that, even though I have no doubt that we're going to have a good flow over for our edges, but I just want to make sure these two sides that are going to be seen once it's installed, that it is all over. All right, so my brush is nice and primed. So we're going to do what's called chopping. There's no rhyme or reason to it. I'm going to not bear straight down an angled brush. They talk about very organic movements and just flow however you like. This is the, I guess, the beginning process to really kind of start moving the metallics of this towards the top more, and just kind of give it that white Carrera look. Said I'm not going up and down in straight patterns. I'm not doing anything in particular. I'm just...
It's not an intentional design.
No, not at all. I'm just straight.
Very random.
It's as random as I can possibly get. I've even seen our next step when we try to get our sides. I've even seen people move this around just with their gloved hands and then go across our edges, and which I think I'm going to do a little bit of both.
Does that also help get some of the air out of it, or?
You can, yeah, when you start doing this is when you really start seeing the air bubbles. Like right now, the whole entire thing is just covered with air bubbles. So I think that's, you're working the material, you're, releasing some of the air bubbles. All right, so I'm just gonna work that edge just a little bit. That's an unseen edge. I'm not necessarily worried about that, but I'm gonna kind of prime my brush again with some material, and I'm just gonna run this all the way down. I'm just gonna kind of prime my brush again, make sure I got plenty, and then just kind of nice and smooth all the way down on that. Prime some more. And make sure that's getting filled.
And that stuff continually self-levels, so
Yeah.
As long as it's wet and thick, you shouldn't have any problem with brush marks or anything.
No, not at all. But you know, too, with what we're doing, the white Carrara marble, your brush marks are probably welcomed, just because that's going to help you with your marble design. All right, I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to I'm just going to go down with my hand real quick. I'm going to grab some of this excess material that's flowed on the, definitely the backs, the fronts and the backs. What they call them. I'm going to prime my hand up with this material, and I'm just going to go across that front edge nice and smooth, very light pressure. All right. So now I'm just going to take my gloves off, and we're going to grab our torch. I want to heat this thing up, get all these bubbles out. A lot of the videos I've seen, I'm going to try it this way too. They've started this direction and they're working back on it. Instead of trying to push it, it's almost like they're pulling it. So, and as soon as this torch hits, you can see it's just starting to vanish. It just looks so slick.
On the video, you can't really see the bubbles going away. You can certainly see them in person. You can't. Video's not picking it up. Perfectly smooth. It's perfect now. It's gorgeous.
I might just switch my phone.
Look at that.
So now I'm going to just kind of look over it, keep my torch going, see a couple places I'm a little concerned about. And that one came out. See a couple little pieces of trash that have gotten into it, but on a positive note, I think it's like maybe it's just some discoloration trash, but I can always cover that up with our next step. Two little spots right there that just, oh, there we go. All right. It's very tricky too. You've got to be very careful with this as you're trying to work out those air bubbles and those little imperfections that you see. It will move your metallics around and kind of give you a little bit of possibly a different look. Right.
Well, later on, that's what you want it to do.
So I'm going to stop right now real quick. Just want to walk